Be sure to pick up your copy of the MarsCon 2020 Dementia Track Fundraiser MP3 album with over 4 hours of live music and comedy recorded at MarsCon 2019 for just $20. Visit MarsConDementia.com and click on Shop.
I'm so happy the way that song came out, and I'm absolutely shocked that we put it together in a week and a half.
For more info on MarsCon, visit MarsCon.org. Thanks for listening, funny music fans, and
we will see you at MarsCon 2020. Peace.
Woo! Audience, leave.
I'm JP Tuesday.
And I'm Kiki Canon. We've been Disney fans our entire lives. And now, as childless adults, we're undertaking a journey through the media that shaped our lives.
Trying to find out if what made them special is still there.
We are Rewatching the Magic.
Hi, Kiki.
Hi, Tuesday.
Well. So, what Disney Renaissance movie are we talking about today? Oh, that's
it feels like they never end.
Oh yeah, we're done. But we are moving on. Our future is in the past in this one. Cause that's the phrase that's always been used, was that it started with a mouse. So we are going back to the beginning. We are going to be reviewing some classic Mickey Mouse shorts from back in the day, back in Walt's day. And we are going to be comparing them to some of the more recent Mickey shorts. Before we go ahead, I want to give a big thanks to our good friend Kyle A. Carrozza for suggesting the more recent Mickey shorts that we're going to be reviewing today. Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. Everybody give Kyle a yay.
Yay.
Okay. So we're going to be talking about the first 10 years, roughly, or at least shorts from within the first 10 years of Mickey Mouse's existence, and then shorts from the past 10 years from when we're recording this.
Yes.
Really, really cool kind of bookend there of starting Mickey and present Mickey.
Yep.
So,
a little bit of backstory. Let's get to a little bit of backstory. So, Walt was fired from Universal, where he was working at the time. He was working on the Oswald shorts. Loses Oswald because Universal owned Oswald because, it's one of those things. If you create a character for a company, that company owns the character. So Walt, his partner, Ub Iwerks, and a few of loyal animators left with him, and they started Walt Disney Studios, which still exists today. But they needed a new character. They couldn't use Oswald. And they came up with a mouse. What do we call this mouse? Disney's idea was to call the mouse Mortimer. But his wife said, no, that's a stupid name. I don't like it. So
bravo, Mrs. Disney.
Every guy knows if your significant other hates something, listen. Because they're right. So she suggests the name Mickey because it's a nice little cute name. He's a nice little cute mouse. You need a cute name for your cute character, and Mortimer is not a cute name. Apologies to anyone listening named Mortimer.
Yeah, also remember they were probably, I don't know this for sure, but of course, probably it's a good thing that they named him Mickey because it's really easy for kids to say Mickey. It's not super easy for kids to say Mortimer. Like
Morty Mouse.
Maybe. Morty or Mort, you could shorten it to, but if you were going to call him Mortimer Mouse and always use it Mortimer, not great for little kid mouths. So
You're a mouse, Morty! You're a mouse, Morty!
Yeah.
That would not have worked. Anyway, so we get to... There was one cartoon that was sort of released in 1927 called Plain Crazy. That was a complete silent cartoon, and it did not get a wide release. It would get a wide release about in 1929 when they put sound and stuff into it. So the first wide release cartoon, the first sound cartoon, was 1928's Steamboat Willie, which is considered to be the first Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Yeah. And just a note about the sound thing is people talk about it being the first sound cartoon, but it really wasn't. Like, it wasn't like anybody had never tried it before, But the reason Steamboat Willie was kind of big for the sound thing was it was kind of the first time they were able to sync up sound and keep it synced the entire time and like perfectly in sync, because they were using not a new necessarily technology, but kind of a tweaked version. So it was kind of the first one that it really stayed and was a major part of the plot, I guess you'd call it, instead of just a gimmick.
Can you say this thing has a plot?
No, but I mean, the sound is more important than dialogue for this one. Just sound effects and music and stuff is kind of the big, I'm not going to say plot, but it is kind of the big portion of this one. Do we want to talk about what little plot it has? Just give a brief.
Sure, we'll get a brief summary of the plot. Mickey works on a steamboat as the deckhand to Captain Pete, and things get really silly after picking up some livestock along with Minnie Mouse at a nearby port. That's pretty much all you can say about this cartoon.
Yeah, it's not big on plot, but it is important both in film history, and of course it's the most important thing in the history of the Disney company. So Walt always knew what was going on in the industry. That was one of the cool things about Walt, was he was, we talked before in the last episode about him always looking to the future, but he was always tapped into what was going on at the time as well. And there's two, integrated things about this, which was that just the name of the short, Steamboat Willie, is a callback to a song called Steamboat Bill, which is what Mickey is whistling at the beginning.
Oh, Steamboat Bill, steaming down the Mississippi. Steamboat Bill, a mighty man was he. Steamboat Bill, steaming down the Mississippi, going to beat the record of the Robert E. Lee.
It was actually a famous song at the time that has been completely forgotten, I think, in modern terms, unless you hear that clip of Mickey, and then it's just the song that Mickey whistles.
And like 6 months before this cartoon came out, Buster Keaton made a movie called Steamboat Bill.
Yeah, the song was called Steamboat Bill, and Buster Keaton did a movie called Steamboat Bill Jr. that was also a reference to that song. So that would have been a really famous song to the people at the time, and it would have also been a tie-in with like, oh, here's like a cartoony version of a Buster Keaton film that just came out,
That would be like Disney today doing a cartoon based off Name Your Comedy Here,
Yeah. Just whatever was
Mickey Mouse in The Hangover.
Yeah. Please no. Please no. But yeah, so that was immediately like finger on the pulse. And also the other big thing was that the Jazz Singer had just come out the year before, which was the first movie to have a synchronized pre-recorded music score instead of just like a organist or a pianist playing or a live band playing, and also had singing and speech in several sequences. It's not a complete talking movie. It still uses the title cards of silent film and all that for most of it, but it does have sequences where they have synced up voice. And that was the big new thing. So a few people were trying to figure out how to mesh this with animation. And Walt and his crew were the first ones to really figure out how to make it fly rather perfectly. Better than anybody else had done it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mickey as a character.
Yeah, Mickey.
In this first short.
And it's a good thing they released this as the first one, because this is more of Mickey kind of getting into the right character. That, happy kid. He's supposed to be this little happy kid, and he likes to have fun. And, this is more of the classic Mickey, or he's getting there. He's not exactly there yet, but he's getting to that personality. And they do have a more of a mischievous Mickey compared to the other classic Mickey shorts. He's playing around with the animals. He's abusing the animals more precisely. But he's having more of a mischievous fun time versus the, oh boy, I'm just going to have a good old time right here. I'm all right, Mickey?
Yeah. He is, he's a little bit of a, would we call him a slacker? Because he doesn't seem that interested in his work. When we meet him, he's at the wheel of the ship, which is not his job. He's just messing around pretending he's the captain.
Yeah. And
then he kind of messes around with the animals and stuff, and he's not paying too much attention, and they almost
he's trying to
leave
impress
Minnie
Minnie
behind.
Yeah, he's trying to impress
Minnie. They almost leave Minnie behind on the dock.
Well, Minnie's late. She missed her Uber.
But it is kind of one of those things of, instead of going back to work as soon as Minnie's on the ship, he stays around and plays music with her and all that kind of stuff. Most of this short, if you've never seen it, is a long extended gag around using the animals to play music.
Yep, and they're all playing Turkey in the Straw.
Yeah, that Minnie has some sheet music and a ukulele and was intending to play Turkey in the Straw, and he gets eaten by a cow, I think.
Goat. I think it's a goat.
Goat, something. It's some farm animal. And they get the idea to use the tail as a crank and turn it into a phonograph, and so then that one animal starts playing Turkey in the Straw like it's a phonograph,
and
or a music
box if you want to go that direction.
Yeah, whatever. But and then the rest of them start grabbing various. At first it's wash tubs and stuff,
like trash can and spoons and pots and.
Yeah, and then he starts grabbing the animals and making the duck honk in time and making the pig oink and all that kind of stuff through various manipulations that, like you said, he's kind of abusing the animals. You're no, don't squeeze the duck's neck like that, Mickey. It's not
Don't
good.
stretch it out. No, he's doing that, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not Mickey as most people would think classic Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Yeah, but it does have little bits of that starting, which is that he is a kind of a put-upon guy who tries to keep his head above water as things around him are getting weird.
Yeah.
Which becomes very quickly a theme, I think, for the character.
Yeah, Mickey would eventually find his stride as the straight man in a world of wackiness.
Yeah. He's a little bit more... you do see that happy-go-lucky, because Mickey always kind of wants to have fun as well. Mm-hmm. And there's little bits that would later pop up in the character, Sorcerer's Apprentice is just the same thing as him trying to pretend to steer the boat and slacking off at work and, playing around with things he shouldn't be playing around with. I mean, it's kind of the same idea. And you do see Disney's kind of fascination with music in cartoons right off the bat here.
Mhm.
Because, and I know that part of it comes from it was easier to sync up random sound effects than actual, mouth movements. There's not really much dialogue, if anything, in here. I think Minnie says like, "Oh no," or "Wait," or something when she's chasing the boat.
Most of the dialogue is gibberish. Rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, it's just kind of random vocalizations rather than actual words. But I think the only real words are spoken by Minnie.
And all of that is Walt. Walt is Pete, he's Mickey, and he's Minnie in this cartoon.
Yeah. So most of it is just putting sound effects in at the right time.
It's a tech demo, pretty much.
Yeah. And it's there are a couple of gags that you're like, heh. But as an adult, it's not like a particularly funny cartoon, even if you like, visual gags and stuff like that. It's all rather basic. But you gotta respect it for what it started.
Yeah, this is history. This is where it all started. They say it all started with a mouse. This is what they mean. This was the start of the character of Mickey Mouse, the start of the Walt Disney Company, the start of animation as we know it today.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be very honest in that as far as entertainment value goes, this is kind of like watching, train arriving at a station or one of the early things that was just, we set up a camera and we filmed random people going about their life. And you're like, wow, why did that make such a splash? Why did people show up to theaters to watch this? But then you're like, well, that was the first moving image they ever saw.
Yeah,
that would blow your mind.
Yeah.
So for us today, Steamboat Willie is kind of extraordinarily basic, but at the time, this was the most advanced thing anybody had ever seen. So you got to respect it for what it did and what it taught other people to do.
Yeah. Also, Mickey sucks at peeling potatoes.
Yeah, Mickey at the end is forced to peel potatoes as punishment, and that
he kind of cuts the half potato off.
Yeah, he's like, no, Mickey, that's not how any of that works. All right, so
let's fast forward a bit. So that's 1928, and Mickey would have a good career in the black and white era. So let's move on to the color era. The first color Mickey Mouse cartoon, 1935's The Band Concert.
And this one is not just in color, it's in Technicolor.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, if you watch a lot of older live action movies and stuff, Technicolor doesn't hold up as well in the live action, but boy, in cartoons, so good.
Disney has done well to keep a lot of these old cartoons pristine.
Yeah, I mean, this thing looks gorgeous. Go pull it up in 4K or whatever on Disney Plus, and this thing looks beautiful. Just pops. It's great, and the backgrounds as well.
Yeah.
Even the background paintings are just so. For what is this, like a 10-minute short? They're just such craftsmanship going into it.
And, we also get a lot of the side characters that Mickey interacts with. A lot of the side characters from Mickey shorts. You have Donald Duck. You have Goofy. You have Horace Collar. That has always been a tongue twister for me.
Yeah.
And Clarabelle Cow.
Yep.
Characters. Minnie is not in this one.
No.
But those four characters were like the main background characters for a lot of Mickey shorts. And then you get some of the lesser known background characters. You get Daniel Dog. I don't remember him in any other cartoon. You get Peter Pig, who was in The Wise Little Hen, and this would be his final appearance because they had the three little pigs and they were more popular.
Yeah.
And you have Patty Pig, a character invented just for this cartoon. because they wanted a small pig.
Yeah.
This role could have easily been Minnie.
Once again, okay, let's talk about the plot. This one has slightly more plot, or at least is more coherent in that one basic thing happens.
So Mickey is the conductor of a small orchestra playing an outdoor concert, but they're constantly interrupted by the shenanigans of Donald. So Donald, his role in here, he is a snack. He has a little snack cart. He's selling ice cream. He's selling his little hot dogs and popcorns, and he wants to be part of the concert too. And he decides to be the foil. This should be, if you want to watch a Warner Brothers cartoon, he's pretty much in the role of Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, they're playing William Tell Overture kind of when this starts, and Donald pulls out some sort of flute or whatever and starts playing Turkey in the Straw, which has the same time signature. And ends up, the band kind of follows him, and it annoys Mickey.
They have the music sheet in front of them. Why are they not following the music sheets in front of them?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you even know how to musician, Walt? Come on.
So, I mean, Mickey, he's breaking all of these flutes, and every time Mickey breaks one of these flutes, Donald pulls out another one. How many does he own? And how many are fitting in that coat?
Yeah, this is very early Hammer Space, is what it eventually gets nicknamed. Just the ability of cartoon characters to pull random objects out of thin air. There are more shenanigans. A bee shows up and starts harassing Mickey, and that causes the band to play a completely different... Yeah. And, but then, the big kind of set piece of this is that they end up playing, the Storm segment of the William Tell Overture, and it ends up, I don't know if we're supposed to believe that it summons the tornado, or if it's just like a random occurrence, but,
This starts a meme. I mean, this starts a trend that every time the Storm is played in any cartoon, it's never a good sign.
Yeah. But yeah, so it summons a tornado, let's just say, and the tornado kind of blows through the area and through the concert, and at one point the band members are picked up into the funnel of the tornado, and for some reason Mickey is able to kind of control the tornado and eventually get it to go away by his brilliant conducting skills.
I'm going to tell you about the dedication to the music this orchestra had. They do not miss a beat during the entire storm, and are completely unaware that a storm is even happening because they're still playing.
Yeah, I mean, bravo to them. So, what do we want to say about this? I think that this really is more the cementing of the Mickey character as the
leader?
Yeah, well, one, the leader, but two, the same thing that I just said in Steamboat Willie. Like, he's the guy that things happen to, and he's just trying to keep it all together.
Yeah, he's fully transitioned from comedic lead to straight man.
Yeah, this is there. He has comedy, but it's not caused by him. It's not him being like, hey, look at this joke. It's him reacting to things that causes the comedy. And
like I said before, in this cartoon itself, it's pretty much Donald is in the role of Bugs Bunny and Mickey is in the role of Daffy.
Yeah.
Which is completely strange if you think about it.
Donald also the only one that speaks this entire time. And he basically just says, like, you know, peanuts, popcorn, whatever. He just calls out, like, whatever he is selling.
And that's all Clarence Nash as the original voice of Donald.
Yeah. So, once again...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, once again, it's all based on music and sound effects and not on dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is it me, or this looks like there's something going on between Goofy and Clarabelle?
Yeah, they seem a little close. The thing that I wanted to point out with this was, oh my God, what is wrong with Donald's eyes? There's just a giant all caps line in my notes that's like, Donald's eyes. Because there's something weird with the animation in this that Donald is not quite what we would think of as on model for Donald yet. His eyes are very strange. Mickey looks like normal Mickey, but Donald hasn't quite gotten his shape yet. His beak's a little bit drawn a little bit differently.
It's a little longer than normal.
Yeah, his eyes are the stuff of nightmares. Be warned. They don't quite track in the same place. I don't know what was up with that, but he's the only character that has that quality, so I don't know if I'm guessing it was on purpose, and then they just realized, like, no, we've turned him into a walking nightmare. We need to dial that back.
Maybe he wasn't supposed to be the original character, and they just decided to go with it anyway. I don't know.
Well, he's dressed like Donald, though.
Yeah.
So, and he's got Donald's voice, so, you know. But the one thing that we didn't really talk about for Steamboat Willie is, I honestly don't know if you noticed it, but there are a lot of animation mistakes in Steamboat Willie.
Mm.
It's not as clean as you would expect, and it's not as clean as, like, even the band concert. You know, by the time we get to this, which is, you know, almost 5 years later, they've kind of gotten their act together a lot, but there's a lot of things in Steamboat Willie that when they get to I know a big one I noticed is when they get to the pier and Mickey is trying to load the cow onto the boat. There's a tag around the cow's neck,
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps disappearing.
Yeah,
Like in the same shot. It's not even like between shots they forget to animate it back in. It'll just be that like one drawing has the tag and then the next one in the sequence doesn't, and then it does again. So the tag kind of flickers in and out in a very odd way. And it's obviously just an animation mistake that when he was drawing he forgot to animate the tag in. But little things like that. And the movements of a lot of objects, especially, are very static. Like Mickey picks up a pile of hay at one point, and it just kind of moves as if it's one block of thing. It doesn't have any kind of life or movement to it on its own. Band concert is far better. They've kind of gotten into their style
Mhm.
by the time of the band concert.
So, is that all we can say about the band concert?
Yeah, again,
band-
this one is funnier. This one actually has entertainment value and is not just like a historical relic. Like there are times you laugh in.
Yeah,
band
and
concert.
honestly, the for like a day after I watched it, the turkey and the straw William Tell mixing was still in my head. You know, like it stays with you.
This one had an interesting. I think I'm trying to think of who it was. Leonard Maltin, the great film critic, called this one of the best cartoons ever made anywhere. And particularly praised the animation of Mickey's face. That he's very expressive in.
Yeah, he is. Like he gets really, you can see him getting really angry, the teeth gritting and all that.
Yeah, and also the band concert is kind of big in Disney history in that it keeps getting referenced in other things.
Yeah.
Mickey showing up in the band leader outfit. I mean, there's a parade float about it. in one of the Kingdom Hearts games, I think he's in that. You see like little figures I've seen like ornaments and stuff of him in that. The idea of Mickey as band leader shows up, and then even shows up in Mickey Mouse Club.
Yep.
That Mickey is back as the band leader. So that all kind of starts here, and it continues to be a part of the Mickey character now and then in the company.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a good short. I definitely recommend this one if you just want to sit down, especially if you've got young kids who like that kind of slapsticky comedy. This is a nice, they don't even have to know words because nobody talks except Donald, and it's only 2 or 3 words. So
a lot of the cartoons we're going to be talking about, Disney has put them up on YouTube, so you can search for them and they'll be there.
Yeah, so even if you don't have Disney Plus, but we watched all of these on Disney Plus. There's everything we're talking about today is currently on Disney Plus. So if you have access to that, go watch them all. We got the idea for this episode because there's a thing on Disney Plus called Mickey Mouse Through the Decades or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And we were like, hey, that's a good idea for a show. So, so thank you Disney Plus for giving us the idea for this show. So yeah, band concert recommended, magical. Go watch it.
Yes. So let's move on. Let's get forward a bit. 1936, Mickey's Rival. We talked about the original name being Mortimer. Well, they actually named the character Mortimer Mouse in this cartoon. He is very different than the other characters. That he is actually drawn more or less human height. He has more of the features that will become regular with Mickey and Minnie later on in the years, as Mickey and Minnie are still drawn in their classic style here, that black and white style, while Mortimer has like the peach face, the eyes with eyeballs and stuff like that. So it's almost like a past and present, because you get Mortimer, the character, would influence the design of Mickey and Minnie much later on.
Yeah. So this one is the one that is the first one to have the first one that we're talking about, at least, not the first one in the history of the company. But the first one of these we're talking about today to have real both plot and dialogue. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the plot of this one, because it does have one.
Yeah. Mickey and Minnie's picnic date is ruined by the appearance of Mortimer, Minnie's ex. Keep that in mind.
Real quick, though, is he an ex, or are they just, like, they knew each other?
He says...
She definitely seems to have a crush on him, but I don't
His first line is, if it isn't my old sweetheart Minnie Mouse.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so yeah, it is indeed Minnie's ex. Please, continue.
So yeah, and so Mickey and Minnie, they're having their little picnic date, a little romantic date in the park. It's all nice, like a typical date you would have with a long-term partner. Nothing extravagant, fine. And then this big old sports car drives up, and coincidentally, your SO's ex is right there. And he just kind of mooches in on this date. And Minnie doesn't seem to mind this, despite the fact that this is his ex. And she skips with him. They're holding hands and they're skipping. Obviously, Mickey doesn't like this at all. Would you? If your significant other's ex was there and they're laughing and they're skipping, would you not get jealous? I would.
I think most people would have a little bit of jealousy, depending on the rules you have set up in your own relationship. But again, this is 1936, so we're definitely not talking about polyamorous mice.
No. And I have it in my notes. Minnie is feeding Mortimer.
Yeah, that was weird to me.
Right in front of Mickey, and Mickey is there. He's dipping a donut in coffee while his girlfriend is feeding looks to be mashed potatoes to her ex-boyfriend.
And she's not just she's like shoveling those things down his throat because he's also got like a sandwich or something in his hand.
Yeah.
And like between every bite of that, she just shoves more mashed potatoes in his mouth.
The hell, Minnie? In front of your guy. No.
Yeah. This short actually makes Minnie look awful. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Minnie, this is not in character for you.
She's still harboring some feelings for her ex.
Yeah, and the thing is though is that they go out of their way to make Mortimer the worst. Oh my god, he's
pulling all these practical jokes on Mickey. Like the buzzer, the electric buzzer.
Toy buzzer, fake hand.
The
punching
buttons off
glove.
of Mickey. He rips the buttons off of Mickey's shorts. You do not do that.
Yeah. Strangely enough, though, Mickey's shorts stay on.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think they're just decorative buttons we officially know now.
Yeah. He's the real a-hole, and they want you to see him as an a-hole in this movie, in this little short.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the cars real quick.
The cars are sentient.
Which is weird.
This is some Radiator Springs action here.
Yeah. Years before Pixar, Disney had already cornered the sentient car market.
So yeah, we have Mickey's little car. He's a small mod. This is also playing into Mickey as the everyman character because he has a small economy car.
It's a jalopy. It's not even an economy car. This is a straight up jalopy. This thing is barely being held together.
While Mortimer has his sleek big old luxury Mercedes thing here. And obviously the big luxury car is a snoot, sees this jalopy as garbage and kind of ramming into him, making him even more damaged than he already is.
Yeah, it's very weird because they do set up that the cars have a similar rivalry.
Yeah.
With Mortimer's car being an aggressive bully and Mickey's car just trying to hang on.
Yeah. So that's that. And then we get Mortimer trying to impress Mickey. Mortimer trying to impress Minnie by fighting a bull. There just happens to be a bullpen in this park for some reason.
I think they're supposed to be out in the country by a road somewhere and not a park.
Farm area, maybe?
Yeah. Because that's, I don't know about other places in the country, but that's just the thing you do in the South. Like, you just, let's go out and find somewhere in the middle of nowhere and
It's 1930s Midwest be Disney's area, so.
Yeah, I mean, so it was probably the same kind of thing of we're just going to jump in the car, find a nice, pretty spot out in the middle of nowhere, have a picnic.
Yeah, Mortimer, he takes the whole picnic blanket and he's trying to tease the bull with it. And obviously the bull is running into the gate, so Mortimer is not afraid of the bull at all because the gate's going to stop the bull. And during all this, Mickey is his jealousy is overflowing, and Minnie just blows him off.
And she actually says, "You're just jealous." No duh. You're doing everything in your power to make your boyfriend jealous.
And maybe she wants to. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen significant others do things intentionally.
But do you really want to think of Minnie Mouse as that kind of manipulative person? I don't. It's so out of character for her as far as what we've come to expect from her.
Yeah. So Minnie is completely out of character in this cartoon. I don't know. Again, she's harboring something for Mortimer. There's still something there, and otherwise she wouldn't be this way. Maybe I don't know. I don't know Minnie Mouse. I've only met her once.
Walt, who hurt you? It sounds like one of the people who was in charge of writing and animating this had a really bad experience.
And obviously there's a part of the gate that's open, and the bull gets out, and Mortimer bails because he's a coward. He completely bails on Minnie, gets in his car, he's out of there, and we never see him for the rest of the cartoon.
Yeah, and he leaves Minnie like right in the direct path of the bull too.
Because now we know why they broke up.
Yeah.
And obviously, Mickey, being the hero of this picture, saves Minnie. You know, he fights the bull. He thinks that the car outsmarts the bull with a ring of smoke. Not sure how that works, but it's a cartoon.
Yeah, I think the car more fights the bull than Mickey does. The car is the real hero of this. I even have it in my notes. Like the star of this is Mickey's car. Just like that's the thing.
So the Minnie is saved, and in their car they're driving out, and Mickey is just, you think Mortimer's hot stuff still? Like, no, I'm all into you again. And it's like Mickey is just so forgiving of Minnie. Mickey doesn't deserve her.
Yeah, in this cartoon at least, if this was the entire, Disney canon of this relationship, you'd be like, Mickey, you deserve so much better than this.
But he's a good guy, so he forgives Minnie. Yeah. Obviously, they work it out because, 90 years later, they're still together. So.
Yeah. The thing that annoys me most about this is I absolutely hate, and I don't know, maybe this is just me being a comedy fan and also a woman, but I absolutely hate the type of woman that laughs at an unfunny joke because she likes a guy. Mm. Like, even if you don't have standards in men, have standards in comedy, for goodness sake. So, and the thing that annoyed me most about this short was that Mortimer keeps doing all this, like, really unfunny and bully stuff. It's things that's only funny to a bully. And Minnie is laughing like it's the funniest thing ever, and Mortimer is the greatest wit on the planet, and everything. And I'm like, oh, I hate that type of woman, because I know that type of woman. That they have, like, the least funny boyfriend in the entire world, and they laugh like, they're dating, like, old school Eddie Murphy or something. Like, I don't know.
And the fact that this is happening to her boyfriend. Like, your boyfriend is getting bullied, and you're laughing that your boyfriend is getting bullied.
Yeah, just everything about this short makes Minnie look awful. This is not a good look for Minnie. It's a great look for Mickey, though, with the exception that he forgives Minnie at the end and continues dating her.
It really plants Mickey as an everyman character, which a lot of people see Mickey as. Mickey is the everyman. Yeah. He's just, like you said, things happen around him. He doesn't actually do things.
Yeah.
And that's most people. Crap happens to people, and you just gotta find a way out of it. And Mickey is at least clever enough to get out of the messes that the world seems to put him in.
And also, this one really cements Mickey as a hero.
Yeah.
This is the first time that we're, in the ones we're looking at, that he has to act in a heroic role to save someone. It would not be the last time in the history of the Mickey character, of course, nor the last time in the shorts we're talking about today. But this really sets up that Mickey can be a hero in an action context.
Which never surprised me, especially when you see him in the Kingdom Hearts games. He's having that Keyblade, and he's being a badass, swinging that key around. Yeah. So yeah, Mickey can be a badass when he wants to be.
But even in the context of earlier things, he ends up being very heroic in a lot of shorts and stuff after this time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this is necessarily the first time that Mickey gets to act in that kind of heroic setting, but it's definitely a hallmark, I think.
This is a good example.
After this, yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about Mickey's rival?
Mortimer is the worst. I'm really kind of glad that character is not a usual character. He pops up from time to time.
Once Upon a Christmas, he pops up. He was a regular foil in the House of Mouse cartoon, but he's not a regular part
Yeah,
of the.
he's not just regularly part of the Disney, stable of characters. He's a occasional villain that pops up from now and then, and it
Not
just
even a villain. He's barely a foil.
yeah, it just he's a minor annoyance that pops up now and then.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he doesn't get more use, honestly, because it's just they created the character to be just awful, and
They created him to be the opposite of Mickey.
yeah, it's just
Like Mickey is short, Mortimer is tall. Mickey is nice, Mortimer is mean.
yeah, it just ugh.
Pete does a better job of it.
Yeah, I like Pete better as a villain, but Mortimer is just ugh. You ever want to punch a mouse?
Which makes me glad Mortimer is not a character you can meet at the Disney parks.
Yeah, I was like, oof, that would not be good.
So, you want to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Let's fast forward. 1937. I think this is the last classic one we're going to be talking about.
Yep.
Clock cleaners. And this one was chosen pretty much because it's the perfect example of a Mickey, Donald, and Goofy cartoon. We couldn't do a show about classic Mickey without doing one of the cartoons where it's Mickey, Donald, and Goofy.
Yeah.
Because when you think, they're the trio. They are the trio of the classic Disney characters.
Yeah, and it also has all three original voice actors.
Yes, that would be Walt Disney as Mickey, Clarence Nash as Donald, and Pinto Colveg as Goofy.
Yeah. So if you want to hear all three of these characters in their kind of original glory, this is a really good one for it. This one does not have much of a plot, but you want to go ahead and...
Yeah, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are janitors working at a tall clock tower, and I assume is New York City.
Yeah, when you see the background, it does kind of look New York-ish.
And just the craziness that happens during their workday.
Yeah, they try to clean the clock, and springs hit them, and things fall, and...
Everything that could go wrong does.
Yeah.
And this one, each character, and this is sort of a trademark of the Mickey, Donald, and Goofy cartoon, it is essentially 3 or 4 shorts put into one, because each character has their own individual thing that happens, and it kind of all comes together at the end.
Yeah, it is kind of like 3 separate stories that mesh up at the final bit. Mickey starts out cleaning the face of the clock and the gears.
Riding the second hand. What the hell, Mickey?
Yeah, he is taking a ride around the clock, cleaning each of the numbers in turn.
Doc Brown is looking at you going, what the hell?
Donald starts out cleaning the spring mechanism inside, and Goofy starts out cleaning the bells.
Yeah.
The chimes in the clock. This one is mostly based on visual humor.
Yeah.
A lot of slapstick. This is very Three Stooges.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you could plop the Three Stooges into this, and it would exactly fit.
A lot of the Mickey, Donald, Goofy cartoons are very much like that.
Yeah. It's mostly just dealing with, I got caught in the cogs, or the spring doesn't want to lay still for Donald, and Goofy
Mickey
keeps getting hit on the head by the bell ringer automaton things that come out to ring the bell on the hour.
Mickey finds a stork in the clock. Doesn't go off him either.
Yeah.
Mickey, if someone is sleeping, let them sleep, leave them alone.
Yeah. The biggest thing in this is that Goofy gets his bell rung.
Literally.
By one of these little mechanical bell ringer figures, and ends up kind of going on a dazed walk off the edge of the clock, at which point we see Mickey being a hero again.
Yeah.
Mickey sees his friend, stumbling over the edge, going to splat on the ground below, and, tries to swing things over to keep him safe and move ladders and all kinds of stuff to keep him from falling.
And he falls anyway because cartoon.
Yeah, and then he bounces off something and comes back up because
Flagpole.
cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it all comes together. Goofy knocks Mickey, and they all fall into the same window that knocks Donald into the gears, and that's kind of how it ends because the gears kind of shift around, and then they keep on. It's kind of a motion sickness thing because their body still moves even though they're not in the gear anymore, and that's the comic part.
Yeah. This is a funny one because of something that happened. We always talk about Disney controversies. And Plot Cleaners has the funniest controversy. If you know anything about Donald Duck, you know that the longest running joke about Donald Duck is that nobody can understand what he says.
Yep.
And in the 90s, when they re-released this short, they put it in a VHS of shorts and released it. And Walmart actually pulled it off the shelves because some group, the American Family Association, which is one of those, conservative, religious, fundamentalist groups that make trouble. Yeah. Somebody was, I guess his kids were watching the short, and Donald is yelling at the spring. At one point, he gets into a fight with the spring of the clock, and Donald yells some stuff at the spring, and the spring kind of talks back to him in this really kind of cool voice that does kind of sound like a spring going boing, 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 but it sounds like talking. You really have to hear it to understand. But Donald gets into an argument, but you can't really understand either of them clearly because of the way the characters. And at one point, the guy thought that Donald said F you to the spring, and then he later called the spring a son of a... Yeah. So, if you actually watch the short closely, the first one is he's going back and forth with the spring, and eventually Donald says you.
And the spring says I.
Yeah, it's not super clear, but if you play it back and listen to it, you can tell that there's a back and forth. Yeah. And then the other one was supposed to be him calling him a snake in the grass, and the spring has kind of been animated kind of like a snake at that point. So it's snake in the grass, not son of a...
What's the matter? Oh, shut up! Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Shut up! I'll bust you, stand in the grass!
Anyway, the Disney Plus version only retains one of these lines. The says you, says I is in there. Mm-hmm. Although the closed caption doesn't get it correct.
The closed caption, they actually replaced that line for when they re-aired it on the Disney Channel, and I think that's where the subtitles are coming from, that redubbed version.
Yeah, and I forget, it's
I'll show you, I think it is like that.
Yeah, I'll show you or whatever. And then the spring says I, which makes no sense anymore in that context. But in the Disney Plus version, the second line, the snake in the grass, is just Donald gibbering. He's just angry yelling. So they've changed it a little so nobody gets that idea again.
Maybe they don't have it anymore. It's probably possible. It's been so long, and it's been so long since it's been edited that they might not have that original audio anymore. Yeah,
it was the early 90s, I think, that they had to...
classic Donald cartoon where his temper gets the better of him.
Lots of people, the time that this was made would have been during the Code era of Hollywood, which would have been the Hays Code in effect, which was a Hollywood censorship guideline sort of like what happened a little bit later on with comic books when they had the Comics Code Authority. Very similar thing. And it had all of these really nitpicky rules about what films could or couldn't do in order to present an ethical, morally upstanding thing. So, yes, people would try to sneak things past the code, but the idea that Donald Duck would be using the F word in like 1937 is.
To be fair, they also. They would even get this into Who Framed Roger Rabbit. People think he was swearing, calling Daffy Duck the N-word.
Oh yeah, that one happened. There was a lot of weird stuff around that movie. When we get to it, there's gonna be a lot of weirdness. But the Donald Duck, just because he is so incomprehensible, gets a lot of these like Donald's really saying squares, and it's never been true. Sorry to burst your bubble on that conspiracy theory train, but like no.
Yeah, there's also a running gag here. It happened in a few cartoons with Goofy, that he has a habit of being, bashful and eventually chivalry around inanimate objects in the shape of women.
Yeah, and he does. One of the little bell ringers is shaped like a princess or something.
Statue of Liberty.
Oh yeah, Statue of Liberty. So that reinforces the New York idea. But and then he's angry because he keeps getting hit by these things, and then he turns around and sees one that's dressed like a woman, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am," and he bows really low to her, and then she hits him on the head, which is great. I love that bit.
He got knighted.
Yeah. This one is once again a good just entertainment cartoon.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot necessarily that's like super historic about it. This wasn't like the first of anything as far as I know, but it's a really good, funny short if you want to see the way these three characters play off of each other in the early days.
If anyone ever asked you, what is the dynamic between Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, this is one of the cartoons you would definitely show them.
Yeah, it's a good one. Go look it up. It's another fun one.
Yeah. So this is the small sample. There are 123 Mickey shorts that were produced between 28 and 53.
Yeah.
And this is just a small sample. And there's enough that we can go back and do another episode of this sometime down the line.
Yeah.
And they would eventually stop them, and then they would kind of get back into it into the 80s, because they would get after 53, the first Mickey short would be Mickey's Christmas Carol, which we did review back around the holidays. And after that would be Prince and the Pauper in 90, and not long after that would be Runaway Brain, which would I want to say 98, was that? No. Had to been like 95, 96. Runaway Brain. And we wouldn't get a new Mickey short until 2015 with Get a Horse.
Yeah.
And ironically, we'll eventually get to Get a Horse. But speaking of that time, during that time, a brand new set of Mickey cartoons got started on the Disney Channel. And eventually they would put these on YouTube. Since I don't have the Disney Channel, I don't have cable, so I saw all of these cartoons starting up on YouTube. So 2013, they started a new series of Mickey shorts. They would air on the Disney Channel, they would go on YouTube. As of today, as of February 2020, there are 94 shorts in this series. All of them are on YouTube, so even if you don't have Disney Plus, you can watch these and enjoy them, because they are very, very good. They are in a way throwbacks to like the 20s style of Mickey, but also having a bit of the modern comedy into it as well. It sounds weird, but it strangely works in this case.
Yeah, I had not seen these prior to looking them up for this. And I was pleasantly surprised. I did not expect this to work, because I had seen a couple of still images from it, just a few frames, here or there, in things that are like, oh, they're making new Mickey Mouse shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
And when it is just a still picture, the model they use for Mickey in this looks really not great. Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to go back to like a 20s type of style. It's very much, if you've ever played like Cuphead, it's that kind of throwback animation style. But it works when it's in motion. I don't think it looks as pretty as a still picture, but on screen when it's actually, doing its thing, it looks a lot better. And the backgrounds look amazing. I really like the backgrounds.
So a lot of people that were on Cartoon Network worked on this one. Most of the people that were working on shows like Dexter's Laboratory, the original Powerpuff Girls, even some of the people that were working on SpongeBob worked on this. And you can really tell that humor in these cartoons.
Yeah, this is very much closer to a Cartoon Network, or even I got more Nickelodeon from it.
Yeah.
This is, to me, very Nickelodeon in the execution of it. The way that jokes are set up, the way punchlines are done, that kind of thing.
And we kind of get a new Mickey Mouse voice this one. Obviously, Wayne Allwine passed away, and what is the name of the current voice actor? Shoot, I had it right here now.
Eep. I forget. Sorry.
I have it on my phone, and my phone's being a butt.
No, bad phone. Stop being a butt.
Yeah, my phone's being a butt. So, obviously, Wayne Allwine was the previous voice of Mickey Mouse, and he did pass away. Brett Iwan is the current official voice actor of Mickey Mouse. He does Mickey Mouse in everything. The cartoon, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse cartoons, the shorts, the video games, the parks, everything except the shorts.
Yeah, this is the first time there have ever been two official Mickey voices at the same time. Because Disney considers this also Mickey's official voice, at least for the purposes of these shorts.
Yeah, and the reason they have a new voice actor is because they wanted more of a Walt-sounding Mickey as opposed to a Wayne Allwine-sounding Mickey, if that makes sense to anyone.
Yeah, before we get into these shorts properly as individual shorts with plots, I do want to talk about Mickey's voice a little bit.
What's his name? Chris Diamantopoulos.
Yeah.
I am butchering that name. I am sorry for butchering
Greek
that name.
names are fun. So, yeah, I do want to talk about the voice because the voice evolved a bunch. One of the things that got me in the early shorts that we watched, and like you said, there's like 120 something of them, and Walt did the voice of Mickey in over 100 of them.
Yes.
Up
until the late 40s.
Yeah, so I mean, almost the entire run, he was the official voice of Mickey for those original shorts. His Mickey Mouse voice was, dare I say it, wildly inconsistent.
Well, that has a lot to do with the smoking habit.
It does, but even like in the early, like in Mickey's Rival, his voice is a lot lower than you think of Mickey's voice throughout that one. And then he's got a couple of lines, I think, in Clock Cleaners, and it's a little bit higher in that one, which is later, so it's like if it was just the smoking being a progression thing, you would expect it to be the other way around. But I chalk it up to the fact that, Walt was not by any means a trained voice actor. And the guy that took over from him was also not a trained voice actor, really. He had a different job at the company and then took over the voice.
Jimmy McDonald. He was a sound engineer.
Yeah, Jimmy McDonald. Thank you. And it wasn't until Wayne Allwine that we really got a voice actor that was his primary job, to do Mickey. And that's when the Mickey voice starts to even out. And then the two that have come after Wayne Allwine, including the guy that does this one, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go with Chris. Sorry, we really do not want to butcher your last name. We have too much respect for you to do that more than once. But yeah, it's very obvious that when you get to the kind of professionally trained voice actors, things become a lot more consistent. But in those early shorts, it really was kind of a grab bag. And we went through before this and listened to clips of everybody who's kind of in any way, even semi-officially done the voice of Mickey for anything. And there was a guy who did some radio shorts for it.
I'm surprised when I look at this. Stan Freberg did Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Stan Freberg was the one that shocked me because I had not realized that the great Stan Freberg had done Mickey's voice in what appears to be a single book and record combination.
Alan Young actually performed Mickey voice. Alan Young, the voice of Scrooge McDuck, did Mickey Mouse in the original audio version of Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Which I think we did mention that before.
We did mention that
before in passing, but so there were all these people that got to be the official voice of Mickey for like one thing. Yeah. But they were never the official company-wide voice of Mickey. There have only been 5 people that have been considered the official voice of Mickey. But it really isn't, each one of those actors kind of just did part of whatever they heard in Walt. Mm-hmm. Like Stan Freberg, brought out
it's more than just talking in a high voice.
Yeah, it's like some of them just talk in a high voice. Some of them, they focus more on the laugh. Because the laugh was a bit of, so they throw in the laugh a little too much or whatever. But it really isn't until you get like the super, professional guys come in that it really evens out and becomes a consistent, this is what Mickey Mouse sounds like. And they're all relatively close, the 3 latest guys, Wayne Allwine and the 2 that are doing it now, Brett and Chris. Wayne and Brett and Chris, thank you. That they are all fairly consistent with each other. I'm not saying that you can't tell differences, because you always can. But they are closer to having a consistent Mickey sound than even Walt was when he was the only one doing the voice.
Yep.
So, hey, Disney, remember how I say you should use more professional voice actors? This is why. So, but it's a cool little thing. You can go out there and find clips of various people, various Mickey voices.
The one we went with was the voice evolution of Mickey Mouse by Big Dave Lee Down Under.
Yeah, really good YouTube channel. Go check out that stuff.
He has a lot of voice evolution videos. He has voice evolution videos for so many classic characters: Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny. He just released one for Tom and Jerry, even though they don't talk, but Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting to me, from that kind of perspective, that Walt, that was never his primary thing. I think he absolutely loved being the voice of Mickey Mouse, of course. Mm-hmm. But that was never his primary job. It was like... He was a creative
guy. He was a businessman.
Yeah, he was the business guy. He was the creative guy. He had other things. And then he would step into a recording booth and do Mickey's voice. We also did watch a few clips of him in the booth recording Mickey's voice, because there is some archival film footage out there that you can look up on YouTube of Walt doing Mickey's voice, and it's very neat.
It's very weird, especially when you have Walt is a very tall man doing the voice of a very small mouse, and you have I think Billy Barker doing the voice of Pete, and he's a very short man doing a very, very big burly voice.
Yeah, it's really kind of a fun recording session to look at. But
it's one of
and
those
also,
fly on the wall moments. Like you want to be the fly on the wall. Imagine being in the recording studio, seeing Walt Disney record the lines of Mickey Mouse.
yeah, and as a lot of voice actors talk about, is that for some voices there is just a way you have to move your face in order to get that that voice to come out. Frank Oz will not let anybody film him doing Miss Piggy because he has to make such a weird face to do the voice, to make that voice come out of his mouth. And he hates the way he looks. And he's like, but you can't do the voice without doing that face. And he will not let anybody film him or let official footage be released of him doing the Miss Piggy voice. There are a few clips out there, but they're generally, kind of less performance-y stuff. But when he really gets into it, apparently it is a sight to behold, and one of those things I wish I could see.
Yeah, something with like doing the voice of Donald Duck. It's the voice actor has to do just this weird, goofy face just to get that duck sound come out.
Yeah, and it's just most voice actors that do these kind of extreme character voices, they have to do something like that. And so some people really don't like to be filmed when they're recording because they do not want anybody to see them making the weird faces that they have to make to do some of these characters. Mark Hamill used to, he's gotten better about it, but Mark Hamill used to, when he was doing the Joker, he would cover his mouth if he did the Joker voice in public. Because I guess he doesn't like the way that he has to over-emote to get that voice to do. But I think he's gotten less self-conscious about it in recent years, and he'll do it on camera now.
It's probably very teethy for him, and he doesn't want to really put his teeth out there like that.
Yeah, he has to open his mouth like really big to do that, and he's a bit of a ham, but he's not usually that much of a ham. So, yeah. But anyway, I love cool little things about voice acting like that. Thank you for going on that trip with me.
Yeah, and besides Chris, most of the remaining actors are the regular actors. You get Russie Taylor as Minnie, her final role, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Tony Anselmo as Donald. Tress MacNeille as Daisy. Bill Farmer as Goofy. Jim Cummings as Pete. Another Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings. Yes.
Yep.
And in a couple of them, you get. I know I heard Rob Paulson's voice in at least one of them. Yeah. As a background character, not as one of the main characters. But some cool voice talent in these shorts. Let's talk about the shorts.
All right, so let's talk about one of the first ones. 2013, Stayin' Cool. The plot of this is it's the hottest day of the year, and our guys, our trio, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, have to find a way to stay cool.
Yeah, not too much plot to this one. It's really just them bouncing from adventure to adventure, trying to find a place to cool off. They start in a pool, and then they end up in like a meat locker, and at which one point a guy tries to butcher Donald.
A duck in a butcher shop. That doesn't end well.
Yeah, which is interesting because the butcher is also some sort of animal. And seems shocked that Donald can, talk.
That Donald is alive.
Yeah. The joke has always been that the difference between sentient animals and not in Disney is whether or not they wear clothes. And this would seem to kind of confirm that. Because the animal that is doing the butchering is shocked and terrified that Donald is sentient. So, yeah.
Let's backtrack a bit. This is Mickey's idea. So Mickey's idea to get them all cool on this hot summer day is to break into someone else's house and use their pool. The old Mickey will never do this.
Yeah, this is the first thing that I noticed is that, the Mickey of Steamboat Willie might.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the fact that he seems a little more mischievous in that one. And in these new shorts, and this will be a recurring theme, is that Mickey is a little bit more of a, I don't even want to say a prankster, because it's not that.
He has more of a personality.
Yeah, he's not just a guy that things happen to in these shorts. He's a guy that does things.
He's an active participant.
Yeah. These shorts are also, just because this is the way modern cartoons are anymore, they are much more dialogue heavy than anything we covered.
Mm-hmm.
In
and
the
it's a lot of dialogue for like a 5-minute short.
Yeah, these are all like, I think the longest one we watched is like 7 minutes, and they pack a lot of dialogue into 7 minutes. And most of them are like 3 or 4 minutes. So, but yeah, Mickey has the idea of breaking into a mansion. At first, I thought it was going to be Scrooge's mansion, but it's not.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
But then you would have to explain why Scrooge is kicking Donald out of the house, but then you don't need to because it's
Scrooge.
It's Scrooge.
Yeah, Scrooge kicks Donald out of the house all the time. Even in the new series where Donald is living in Scrooge's pool. Because that's, if you've not seen the new DuckTales, that is the living arrangement, is Donald has moved his boat into Scrooge's pool and just
His
lives
pool is
on
big
the
enough
property.
to handle a boat.
Yeah.
I believe Scrooge's house would be big enough to have a boat in the pool.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Mickey takes them to a car wash. And
hot wax, that's not good.
Yeah, no, not great. And then Mickey's idea is to take them to a butcher shop. I mean, it's all of this is Mickey's idea, going from one thing to another. And eventually they end up in the back of an ice cream truck. The ice cream truck ends up getting loose. They're jumping up and down in their excitement for finally having both ice cream and just, cool of the inside of the freezer.
I don't really want to know what happens to the ice cream after where they put it.
Yeah, this is where that like Nickelodeon influence comes in, because they're like putting ice cream down their pants and sighing with pleasure and stuff, and it gets a little like, it's not outright adult, but it's towing some lines there that Disney tries not to tow usually.
It ain't your daddy house, guys.
Yeah, it's a very different vibe. But at the same time, all three of these characters still feel like the same characters.
Yes.
The situations are very different, and the comedy timing and stuff like that is more modern, but the characters still kind of retain their essence, which I like. Eventually, just to end this plot, eventually the truck gets loose, and starts careening through the city streets. And in an attempt to get it back under control, they go flying off of a hill and land on a fire hydrant in the middle of town, and the fire hydrant explodes and starts shooting water everywhere, which then freezes due to the ice cream, which is not how things work, but okay.
Cartoon.
And then everyone in the neighborhood starts skating around on the ice and having like this like really cool winter wonderland scene, and then Donald goes, "I'm freezing."
Because that's how you end that cartoon.
Which I thought, this was the first of any of these shorts that I had seen. This was my introduction to this new Mickey Mouse. And that last little bit with Donald, I was like, yeah, this is a Disney cartoon with these three characters. This is absolutely the exact tone that I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this one. The interesting thing about this is that they also bring back Steamboat Bill, the song. It is part of the musical score for about half of this episode. They also use Goofy's the holler, his scream.
Yep.
That is so iconic in this one. So what did you think about this as kind of a? I know you said you had seen them, but
I did not see this one, but I've seen a few of them. But
Yeah.
this one was hilarious. This was definitely, people want to say, Mickey was funny. This is funny Mickey. This is Mickey in a true funny environment, and him being an active character instead of being a passive character that so many people know him as. And it really is. It's not a different personality, but it's more personality they give Mickey. And I like it. I want more of these shorts. Yes, there are like 90 of these shorts, but I want more.
Yeah, no, I love this tone. And you're right that when I was watching the older shorts, Mickey does not have a lot of personality. He is very much just there.
The most personality we saw outside of the black and whites would be in Mickey's rival, and that was mostly jealousy.
Yeah. But the problem with being the everyman character that other things happen to is that you tend not to get a lot of personality written into.
Because
and you're right, Mickey is much more active in these, and I love it.
Yeah, but the everyman, you have to be in such a way that the audience can inject themselves into that character. So everyone was Mickey. You know, this is how you would have reacted in this one. But then now he has his own personality, his own, way of doing things, and in a way he's just as crazy as the other two are.
Yeah, their friendship makes much more sense, honestly, in this one. Because you can see Mickey as fitting into the group.
Those two are a bad influence on him. He was a good boy.
He was a good mouse, my Mickey was. So, which one are we going to talk about next?
Let's go forward a bit. 2015, I like this one. Because this one was a meme for a while. Wish upon a coin. The plot is, Pete steals all the coins out of a wishing well, and Mickey has to get them back. There are so many Snow White references in this cartoon.
I was about to say, but it's not just any wishing well.
It's Snow White's wishing well.
And they even sing I'm Wishing.
Yeah, and that was a nice having Mickey and Minnie do a duet of I'm Wishing.
Yeah.
For the one I love.
Yeah. And Rusty Taylor just nails that. Like, it's so good. They pass Snow White. I mean, they walk right past Snow White as
knocking
she's
her bucket over as she's cleaning.
Yeah, it's just Snow White's like cleaning and stuff, I guess, near the dwarf's house or whatever, because the dwarfs show up in a bit.
Wishes on the well.
Yeah, the 7 dwarfs are all wishing in the well.
Goofy's there too.
What other classic Disney is in there? There's so much classic Disney jokes in this one. Like, if you're a really big fan of the classic Disney era...
They've referenced every single instance of Wish. Wish upon a star. Pretty much any song that has the word
dream
wish.
is wish your heart makes.
Yes, yeah.
Talks about Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Spoonful of Sugar is in there for some reason. You can see Tomorrowland in the background at one point.
So this is California, I assume. But this one definitely, these shorts definitely look like they're taking place in like California, or at least San Francisco.
It's a very California kind of thing, but this one is very much a you have to
watch this.
Yeah, you really got to watch this if you're at all a fan of the original stuff.
How long was Pete in that well?
I don't know. Yeah, Pete pops out of the well, out of the bottom.
To do the final line today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim Cummings, for that.
Yeah, it is Jim Cummings doing Pete, and he does such a good job of it. Pete steals all the coins and runs away, and then the entire cast, other than Mickey and Minnie, start to riot.
Because their wishes got stolen.
Like, they just straight up go purge in the middle of this short. It is so weird that they're like burning things and running around throwing things.
Keep in mind, this is the 7 dwarves and Goofy. We don't see Snow White anymore in this short, so she's gone.
Yeah.
So it's the Seven Dwarfs and Goofy doing vandalism because their wishes got stolen.
Yeah, and at one point it looks like they're trying to sacrifice Minnie. I don't know what that bit is.
So, okay, here's what I mean by the meme. Because Minnie trips over one of the dwarfs. I believe it's Bashful she trips over. And Mickey, he's first trying to chase away Pete. He hears Mickey fall. Mickey hears Minnie fall, turns around, runs back to her, leans over and says, "What happened?" That clip became a meme, running around the internet for like a year. I remember this. I saw the clip. I didn't know what it was until I saw this cartoon.
Yeah, I never saw that meme. It's so weird.
Yeah, and Mickey doing various things to a dwarf. Like, you want me to sit on a dwarf? You want me to lick the dwarf?
Yeah, that was a strange. Yeah. Cinderella's glass slippers show up at one point because they're apparently part of Goofy's wish. I don't really know what Goofy's wish is, but
new shoes. You got glass slippers.
You think that the dwarves have wished for Snow White to come back to life because you do see Snow White. She's in the glass coffin at the end of it. And when they all, Mickey has to play the hero and get the wishes back, but when he delivers the coins back, the wishes get back in, and you see the dwarves and you think that they're all around Snow White's coffin, and you think that they've all wished for her to, find her true love or whatever, and instead they've all wished for hair.
Except for Dopey, who wishes for a beard.
Yeah, so Dopey still has a bald head, but, which I thought was a good joke. Like, my friend's dead. I won't wish for her back, but I do want a luscious head of hair.
They're old dwarves. They want their hair back.
Yeah.
There's a scene here with some birds and Mickey. Off to victory!
Yeah.
So yeah, Mickey's chasing after Pete, and Pete's getting away, and there's all these birds that kind of snuggle up to Mickey, and it's very heartwarming. And then the next thing you see is the birds are carrying Mickey like a fighter plane.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
This is a hilarious short, and it's probably my favorite of the new shorts we watched.
2 words, projectile eggs.
Yeah, no, it's great. Everything about this is great. I love this. Go look it up. Wish upon a coin. It's brilliant.
It's on YouTube, guys. Just
yeah.
Watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, YouTube or Disney Plus, either or. You can find official versions of it. It's so good.
The ending of this cartoon is a straight up recreation of the ending of Snow White with a twist. I won't spoil that twist.
Yeah, it's great. But again, Mickey is not just... He's a little more the guy things happen to in this one just by the way the plot is set up, but you never get the feeling that he's just a bystander. Like, Minnie immediately is like, we need to get the coins back, and Mickey's like, on it, and he's off to do his thing. It's very much, once again, Hero Mickey, real fun. Go watch it.
Yeah. So, is that all we got for that one?
I think that's all we got for that one.
Let's go to 2019. Last year, our last ones we're going to review are from this year. The first one we're going to go is Two Can't Play. The plot is Mickey and Minnie are trying to beat Donald and Daisy in a game of couples tennis. And that is more hilarious than it sounds.
Yeah, there's not really like an overarching plot to this one, really. It's just what happens at the tennis game.
Donald in his whole 80s attire.
Yeah, Donald and Daisy are in the most 80s outfits, and it's
Donald
beautiful.
has a mullet.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And the soundtrack for this cartoon is just 80s inspired.
Yeah, it involves Donald and Daisy, who are like power players who are super into winning, and Mickey and Minnie are getting beat really bad when they notice a training wristband in a vending machine and decide to use it to help them beat Daisy and Donald.
It even says on the package, "Help beat your friends."
Yeah. And it turns out that the wristbands are somehow technologically enhanced and will take over your arm and make you hit every shot.
It'll make you a better sports person.
Yes. It'll make you better at sportsing.
I just think about this cartoon, and it's just Donald with the air horn. We're number one.
Yeah, Donald and Daisy are so insufferable in this one because they are that like
They're so
power
much.
couple.
They're so they are a-holes in this cartoon, but they somehow stay in character while being a-holes.
Yeah, it's it fits Donald more than I think it fits Daisy just normally.
Bad influence on her. She was a good girl.
Yeah. But then there's of course a twist at the end of the episode and a moral. But this one is fun. It's very 80s inspired, so if that's your thing, look this one up. It's very good at the couples dynamic between Mickey and Minnie. And once again, Mickey is not just a bystander. He's an active participant in the mischief. But it is kind of a little more Minnie's idea, I would say.
It is Minnie's idea, but it's Mickey. He's cheating. Mickey doesn't cheat.
Yeah, and Mickey is having fun cheating. And is gloating over cheating, so it's a little bit of a different twist on Mickey, but it makes sense because it's obvious within the context of the short that Donald and Daisy have pushed them to this point with their insufferability.
You can only push a good guy so far before he breaks.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's Mickey Mouse cheating in a game of tennis.
Yeah.
But again, this is hilarious. It's a great cartoon. It's also a great couples dynamic of Donald and Daisy, just because they're like they're a good couple in this cartoon, even though they're being a-holes in it.
Yeah, you can tell that they're both enjoying themselves and equally having fun with the things they're doing, which is a couples dynamic you don't see enough. I like watching couples have fun doing things together.
Yeah, fun doing couple things,
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all we can say about that one without going, because again, you can always talk so much about a 4-minute short.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and eventually, all parties decide that no more cheating. We're gonna play fair. And Mickey and Minnie win by dumb luck. And I love that they won by dumb luck.
Yeah.
It's a little spoil, but still, go see the cartoon. It's funny. And let's go to another one that was released this year, Our Floating Dreams. Now this cartoon takes place in Thailand. Mickey and Minnie are rivals as opposed to being a couple in this cartoon, which is rare. Each one trying to outdo the other in their selling goods, and there's no English in this cartoon at all. There's very little dialogue, but it's all in Thai.
Yeah, and there's even Thai writing.
Yeah.
On the signs and boats and things like this.
If you need a translation, the subtitles are translated into English.
Yeah, if you turn on the captions, they will give you the English version of what they are. But the interesting thing about these Mickey shorts is that quite a lot of them are done in languages other than English.
Yeah.
And not always in the same language. There's one in French, there's Japanese, Spanish, Portuguese, Hindi, Dutch, Mandarin Chinese, Russian, Turkish, Korean, and then Thai.
Yeah.
So there are several. Apparently, there is a clip in this one where Chip and Dale come through singing some sort of song, and apparently that became a huge viral meme in Thailand after this came out.
It's probably a Thai folk song that we don't know because we're American.
Yeah, it's probably something that makes a lot more sense if you're from Thailand. But it's a cute scene. But The thing I love about this though is that there is a gag in this that made me laugh so hard I scared my dog. Which is Minnie is trying to sell fried rice, shrimp fried rice, and Mickey is trying to sell pineapples, and they're competing for the same customers. And
at the same spot.
Well, yeah, the same spot, which is spot 999, room for one more. So there's a good Disney joke for you. But so Minnie has this bunch. She's making a bunch of shrimp fried rice, and Mickey backs into her boat, and it causes the rice to spill. And you hear, as the shrimp fall out of the thing into the water, you hear the shrimp go, "Woohoo!" as they fall back into the water, which I thought was the funniest joke. And it was so out of context for the rest of the thing, because all the rest of the humor is really dependent on Mickey and Minnie. But that one little bit of the shrimp being free and falling back into the water made me laugh so hard.
Mickey's really, honestly, this whole thing starts, Mickey's a jerk at the beginning of this cartoon, because clearly you see Mickey packing into the spot. This is Minnie's spot.
Yeah, Minnie is getting ready to pull in that spot, and Mickey is that dude that just comes in and zips into the spot as you're, signaled that you're turning your car into the spot. Yeah. Bad Mickey.
Again, they're not a couple in this cartoon, which is, again, rare for a Mickey cartoon.
Yeah, it is a very interesting dynamic of what would Mickey and Minnie be like if they weren't, coupled in the...
And they'd be rivals, which, seeing a cartoon where Mickey and Minnie are rivals is very interesting.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed this one just for that sense. Some of the jokes are really hilarious, but again, unless you speak Thai, there's not really a lot of dialogue. And honestly, even the dialogue is really just them saying things like, "Want to buy fried rice?" Like, it's not really. There's no real jokes as far as I could tell within the dialogue.
Even if you don't speak Thai, watching the cartoon, you can kind of get a gist of what they're saying.
Yeah, so much of it is just dependent on the physical humor that you don't really care that it's in a different language. But of course, I love the resolution to this. Let's just go ahead and spoil this one because it's so beautiful. Is that in all their fighting, they end up accidentally, you got pineapple in my fried rice. You got fried rice in my pineapple. And then they realize that pineapple fried rice is tasty.
I want some now. I want some pineapple fried rice.
Have you never had it?
I've never had it.
Oh my goodness. Even in my tiny, tiny little town, the best restaurant in my town is by far the Thai restaurant. And it is super tiny. And it's this lovely immigrant family that sells, basically what would be street food, comfort food back in Thailand, but here is like super elevated because we're a bunch of dumb Americans who don't know. But their specialty is pineapple fried rice, and it's done exactly like it's done in the cartoon, where it is served to you in a pineapple. It's that whole thing. And immediately I saw this and I was like, I want to go get some pineapple fried rice tonight.
And these two are so violent to each other in this cartoon.
This is basically like an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon.
I was going to say Tom and Jerry, but yeah.
It's a little over the top even for Tom and Jerry. Like, they are straight up trying to murder each other at some points in this.
And that, again, consider a cartoon where Mickey and Minnie are fighting each other in a very, very violent way, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so good. I don't know why it works, but it does. Because if you'd have told me there was a, hey, we're going to make a cartoon where Mickey and Minnie are fighting each other violently, I would have been like, that's not a thing you should do. But it's really works. It's really good.
So far, one of my favorite parts of this cartoon is sort of in the beginning part, where, like you said, Mickey rams his boat into Minnie's and the shrimp falls out. And Minnie starts, he's yelling at Minnie, and Minnie just turns around and gives her the cute face. And he's like dumbfounded, and he's all apologizing. I'm sorry for this. And she just bumps him right out of there, right across the way. He's like, yeah, Minnie, he deserved that.
Yeah. You go, Minnie. Yeah, but
She redeemed herself from Mortimer.
Yeah, as opposed to pretty much everything else, Mickey is the definite instigator in this thing. He is not the guy that things happen to. He is the jerk in this one. This whole thing starts out because he takes Minnie's parking spot. Yeah, it's good.
And it's funny. It's, again, these new Mickey shorts. If you haven't seen these yet, if the art style turns you off, I'm sorry, because these are hilarious.
Yeah.
Give these a chance.
It's much better in motion. If like me, all you had seen was just still frames, it works in motion in a way it doesn't when you're just looking at a still image. So yeah, go check it out. What we got next?
We have one more that we're going to talk about, because this was not originally part of the episode, but we talked about it.
Yeah. We are gonna. I thought we were at the end of ours. You're right. We had agreed to do another one. This one, yeah, those 4 that we just talked about were all courtesy of our friend Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for helping us with that. But this one,
we're going back a bit. This is back in 2013. Cartoon called Tapped Out. Now, the only reason we're doing this cartoon is because me and Kiki are big wrestling fans, and this is a wrestling cartoon. Oh God, had to. We have to. We apologize.
This is basically Mickey Goes to WrestleMania. This is what this is, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy are at a wrestling show, and Pete's the world champion, and Pete makes the challenge who can fight the champ, and Goofy kind of suggests Mickey to do it because Mickey in the crowd, Pete is the heel, the bad guy. And as typical wrestling fans, oh, he's such a bad guy. If I had a chance, I'd knock him out myself. Who wants to fight the champ? Well, he wants to fight the champ. Did it, Mick?
Yeah, and this is one where we're back to the theme of things happen to Mickey and he tries to survive them. Mickey is in no way a part of this until much later in the end. But,
Goofy, what you doing, man?
Yeah, Goofy just throws him full on into the ring. And he's like...
In this version, wrestling's not fake.
Yeah, no, not scripted in the slightest, according to this short.
There's a nice little joke around here with Donald and his nachos.
Yeah, where Mickey's like, Donald, help me! And Donald's like, get away from my nachos.
The thing is, that sounds like something Donald would do.
Yeah, it's completely in character for Donald, which is great. But yeah, this one, we got Rob Paulson in this one as the referee. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun.
Mickey gets his tail kicked throughout this entire thing. The thing is, obviously Mickey is not the strongest, but he shows that he's the smartest by completely outsmarting Pete by involving Donald.
Yeah, he uses Donald's anger as a weapon, which I find this short's version of pulling a chair out from under the ring and hitting your opponent with it. It's like Donald is the chair.
Outside interference, disqualification, Pete will still be the champion.
Yeah. The interesting thing is Pete's got kind of a Gorgeous George thing going on.
Yeah.
At the start, with his wig.
Yeah, you would think they would have him be more like a Hulk Hogan or something. But no, they go way back with the Gorgeous George look.
Yeah, and he's got this like beautiful long blonde hair, which Mickey accidentally pulls off during the course of trying to survive the fight. And it's a wig, and Pete wants his wig back, and Mickey is able to use that to like taunt him out of the ring and stuff like that.
And this is where Donald comes in because he passes to Donald and making Donald spill his nachos. I've never seen someone so angry over the lack of nachos.
Well, he's not even angry at first. There's this great little like mini, scene where Donald starts to tear up over the nachos on the ground, and then he gets angry.
Well, considering this is in a sports arena, those must have been some expensive nachos.
Yeah, that's like a $13 tray of nachos he's got easily. But I love that the seething rage, the explosive rage of Donald, because they actually animate him like surrounded by flame.
Donald goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah, it's really great, and Donald and Goofy join Mickey for the final team up, and the three of them get crowned the champion collectively, and all get the belt like all wrapped around them.
Who wants to fight the champ?
Yeah, and it ends with Goofy holding Mickey up and screaming, "Who wants to fight the champ?" Poor Mickey. But if you like wrestling at all, this is really fun. You'll see that they actually give Mickey like high flyer luchador moves.
Mickey Mouse off the top rope with the Superfly splash.
Yeah, he really they actually do animate some real moves in here, and it's kind of fun to watch.
There are a few of these sports cartoons in here that, even if you're not wrestling fans, there's a soccer one, there's a tennis one we just talked about. There's pretty much they've done one for pretty much every sport there is. So if you like any sport, you'll find something that you'll like Mickey doing here.
Yeah, and once again, it's just fun. It's such silly, slapsticky fun. This one is less dialogue heavy than some of the other ones we talked about, because it's mostly just in-ring shenanigans.
These ones have a lot of slapstick in it.
Yeah, but some of them, like Wish on a Coin and Staying Cool, have a lot of dialogue jokes. So there's a little bit of something for everybody in the new ones, which I like. And overall, I absolutely loved watching these.
Yeah, to me, Mickey's in good hands with these shorts, and I hope these shorts continue. I don't know if they are. There hasn't been a new one posted in a few months, but that just could be because the season's over and we'll get more later on. I don't know.
Yeah, but I recommend this whole series of shorts. I want to go back and just blow through them in a binge watch.
Yeah. Oh, they're only 4 minutes each, so you can get them pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
These cartoons got so popular, they're making a ride based off these shorts over at Disney Hollywood Studios, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Have you ever been to the Hollywood Studios?
Yes.
All right, do you remember a ride called the Great Movie Ride?
Absolutely.
It's gone. It's going to be replaced with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
I am very distraught that all of the things I really enjoyed or wanted to do but was not old enough to do the last time that I was at Disney, which I was like 12, are gone now. Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror is still in Florida.
Oh, is it? I know they had changed it in
California. Yeah, California. It's now Guardians of the Galaxy, which is actually fun. I actually wrote that. That's actually pretty fun.
But I'm such a Twilight Zone fan, though. It's just and of course, being such a classic movie fan, the movie ride was awesome to me. Even as a kid, I absolutely loved that one.
I always thought the reason they got rid of it was because they didn't want to pay MGM any more money.
Yeah, it probably did come down to a rights thing. Disney loves to extend copyright until they have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely love this new stuff. I didn't think I was gonna, but something about it really works, and it's exactly where my humor is, I think. for at least the ones that I watched. I'm not saying they're all winners because we haven't watched them all yet.
No.
But the ones we've seen, I think we've liked.
Yeah, considering it's like over 100 classic shorts, and there's over 90 of these new shorts, we can keep doing more of these comparisons from the old and the new if we really wanted to. If you guys want us to do more comparisons of old and new Mickey, let us know. We'd love to hear you. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. So, do we have any wrap-up thoughts about Mickey?
Classic Mickey is always going to be classic. I mean, you can always go back and, have a good nostalgic feeling of the older cartoons. Some of them do still hold up. Like, Spot Cleaner still holds up.
And Band Concert, I really
still,
didn't.
Yeah. But the newer ones definitely fits today's humor. Fits, I would say, no matter what age you are, you can watch at least one of these and just laugh your butt off. And kids are going to love it. I love it. If you're a fan, if the look is detracting you, you really do need to give this a chance. If you want classic Mickey and this isn't your classic Mickey, I can't help you on that one. But this is definitely giving Mickey more of the personality that he had in the old 20s cartoons. More, I could see Steamboat Willie Mickey and doing these things, but not so much, later Mickey in the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. No. Yeah. You nailed every point I wanted to make. It's great. Go watch the old stuff and the new stuff and make up your own mind. But
make up your own mind. This is only our opinion.
Yeah, but Steamboat Willie is not. There's not really much plot. There's a couple of gags, but it was more a technical thing. Mickey's Rival, Mortimer is just so infuriating that some of it kind of isn't funny, but the car is amazing.
They made him too unlikable.
Yeah, the car is absolutely the star of that short. Go watch it for that at least. And the rest of them get an absolute 2 thumbs up. Go watch immediately. They are great.
Yeah.
So
I think that's all we can say of classic Mickey and modern Mickey. Want to move on to what we're doing next week?
Yeah, what are we doing next week?
Well, there's so much to do to get this show ready just for you. We're all busy. We're getting in a hizzy, giving you a Disney afternoon. It's our first look at one of the shows from the Disney afternoon. We are looking at The Gummy Bears, one of the very first shows that Disney ever made for television, and it definitely means a lot to us because we grew up with this stuff. That seems to be a theme with this show. So next week we are going to be looking at Disney's Adventures of the Gummy Bears. So get your gummy berry juice, get on the Gummy Glen, and don't let Tubby Gummy near the refrigerator because you don't have any food left. So we'll be back next week for Gummy Bears, guys. Let us know what you think of this. Let us know if you want us to do anything else that you want us to do. Let us know. Get us on iTunes. Give us a review. Check us out on Spotify and all that other good stuff. And that's about it. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Rewatching the Magic. We invite you to keep the magic going by joining the conversation online. Find us on Facebook at Rewatching the Magic, on Twitter at Rewatch the Magic, and of course, find all new episodes at rewatchingthemagic.podbean.com. Until next time, remember, the magic is for everyone. It only stops if you let it.
Wanna know a secret?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm not gonna tell.
But we are standing by your wishing well.
Make a wish into the well. That's all you have to do. And if you hear it echoing,
your wish will soon come true.
I'm wishing.